Welcome to ProjectME, the podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, the founder of ProjectME, multimillionaire entrepreneur, former TV newscaster, money-making expert, female empowerment speaker, and self-proclaimed office supply addict. My mission is to take the mystery out of making big money. Every week on ProjectME, the podcast, I'll share success tips, strategies, and stories from other entrepreneurs, experts, and millionaires, showing you exactly how you can achieve your most exceptional life. Now let's get to it. Exciting announcement for all of my listeners. I've officially opened my exclusive group, the ProjectME Passive Income Posse, to the public. This group is by application only, so we can keep the group high vibe and spend our time, energy, and expertise only helping those of you who truly want massive success and impact. You get live weekly trainings from me, special guest coaches, and direct access to me and my business partner for all of your questions. To learn more and apply, go to projectmewithtiffany.com, click on Work With Me, and select ProjectME Posse. And of course, any questions, feel free to DM me at ProjectMeWithTiffany. Welcome to ProjectME, the podcast and posse. I'm your host, Tiffany, and today I'm going to kick your ass. So this is what happens around this time of year, every damn year. And I bet for centuries and centuries, this has gone on in some form. We get energized and excited and pumped up even for the new year that usually starts sometime in December. Many of us tell ourselves lies like, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to work out more. I'm going to meditate more. I'm going to start my business. I'm going to live a fearless life. I am going to travel more. I'm going to read more. Whatever it is, we keep filing these things away. Usually, end of November, December, okay? And then as we get closer and closer to New Year's Eve, that energy of that really, really ignites because we're getting it from mass media, from TV, from other people we know, from social media talking about all the things, right? So we kind of get hyped up all in that. And now here's New Year's Day. And for those people who weren't hungover, it's New Year's Day, right? It's like, okay, now is the new beginning. So there might be some excitement. There might be a little tad bit of dread, like, oh God, it's real now. Like Fantasyland is over. Now it's time to do it. I don't know which category you guys fall in who are listening. It could be some of both. I know I can experience some of both. And then as the days go on into January, it starts becoming a snowball effect of the oh shits. It's like, oh shit. I haven't done the reading I said I was going to do. Oh shit, I've not gone to the gym as many times as I said. Oh shit, I haven't really done that much with my business and I said I was going to. Oh shit, this is the third day in a row I've not meditated. And then what that turns into really quickly is shame. It becomes a shame cycle. Like how could I not done this? I promised myself this. I'll never amount to anything. What's wrong with me? Why can't I do this? Then it goes into comparisonitis. Why is Sally able to do it? Why is Nancy able to do it? Why is Barbara? The name Barbara, by the way, kills me lately. I don't know why. Why is Barbara at the PTA able to bake cookies from scratch, puree her own baby food and use cloth diapers and start a business? And I can barely, microwave mac and cheese for my kid and my husband. We start down that whole path. None of those feelings feel good. We're all in the shame. Then when we're in that shame part, then what happens? Do you think that's very motivating for us? Do you think that ends up making us want to keep pursuing our goals or getting back up again and going, that's okay. Last week was rough and I wasn't really going for it. And now it's a new week. or it's a new day, or what can I do to put things in a better order or arrangement so I set myself up for success. We don't think clearly when we're in a shame state. All right. I'm very familiar with the shame state. That is a preconditioned natural state that I revert back into when I'm low vibe. So I can be sick and I can go to shame very quickly. I could just have life kicking my ass and I'm in a low vibe state because of that. I go to shame. I'm very aware of it because I've done a lot of inner child healing work and I do a lot of mindset work, as you guys know. It's part of what I coach on. So I'm aware that when I get in that shame zone, it can be very dangerous. And a lot of people who've had traumatic childhoods, traumatic relationships, PTSD, people who were bullied, a lot of us revert back to like that shame emotion. And that's normal for what has occurred, but we've got to pull ourselves out of that if we want to change where we're at in our life and we want to achieve different things. We can't sit in that. We've got to be able to pull ourselves out. And if I can pull myself out, I know for a fact that you guys can pull yourselves out. So this is why people don't follow through on their goals, is because it starts with the setup that's already happened right at the end of that prior year. And I know it's like, well, okay, Tiff, that's already gone. I've already done that. I can't go back. That's okay. You've already done it. We have all done it. Truly, we all do it in some way. I tell myself I'm not going to do that because I know better, but then subconsciously I am filing bullshit away in the back of my brain. Like, I'm going to start cooking. Okay, this is something I told myself. I'm going to start cooking healthy foods and doing meal prep in 2020. Okay, filed in my brain. I am going to set a timer and meditate 3 times a day in 2020. Filed that in my brain. So anytime I would see someone sharing about it on social media who I respect and who seems so calm and serene, I'm like, I'm going to add that practice in. I'm going to do that. And I just kept filing it because it feels good at the time. That's that fantasy land thinking. It's like when I talk to so many of you guys who are in that dreaming and inventive, is it inventive or innovative? I don't know, who cares? Stage of business where you're thinking it all up, the possibilities, how you can create a business, all those things. So many of you love that part of it, but then when it comes to actually putting it in action, that's when the fear comes in. It's like, oh shit, now I have to do something. Now I'm overwhelmed. Now I'm scared. Now I'm stuck. Now I don't know what to do. But that fantasy land, dreamy phase, creative phase is sure juicy. It's the same thing that happens with any kind of goal. It just feels so good to our brain. And then what happens is when it's time to do the action, we've set it so far up and such high expectations in our brain that it's very hard to live up to them. And even if we do, it's not sustainable. And then we start getting mad at ourselves. It's a form of self-sabotage that can be very subconscious. And for those of you who have done a lot more personal development mindset work, you might even be really aware of what you're doing. Okay. Like myself, like many of my friends who've done a lot of work, we're really freaking aware of what we're doing, which by the way, can make it worse because then I can use that to shame myself. It's like, hey, I teach this shit. Right? I coach people on this shit. I know better. I've done this many years of this, and this. I know better. And yet I'm doing it. We can pull out that shame stick for anything. But the good news is there is a way to pull ourselves out of it. Just like we can pull out that shame stick for anything, that self-doubt stick for anything. We can also pull out a stick of perseverance, right? We can also pull out a stick of faith. We can also pull out the stick of hope. We can also pull the stick out of leadership, of confidence. We just have to make that choice. For me, I really like visualizing things. I love visual meditations. I can be a very visual thinker, which can be really bad. Like I can't unsee things I've seen. Like there's this woman at the gym, side note. and for anyone who's a visual thinker, you're going to hate me right now. There is this woman at the gym, and I love my gym. Equinox is great. It has a gorgeous marble bathroom, blah, blah, blah. I shower there. There is this woman at the gym. I kid you not. She blow dries her pubic hairs. It's like, what's happening? There's those like built-in blow dryers they have there. She literally puts her leg up on a stool in front of everyone and blow dries her pubes. And let me tell you, there's a lot going on down there. Like, that shit needs to be blow dried. And it's like, she's not even a hairy person otherwise. You don't want to see it, but you can't not look, but you know you're not supposed to look. And it's totally normal to her. And maybe, I don't know, in her culture, that's normal. I have no idea. But that's the kind of visual thinker I am. Like, now that I just told you that, now that'll be stuck in my brain all day. I digress. I know. Random tiff rant. By the way, has anyone else like seen crazy shit at the gym? You need to share this with me. DM me at ProjectME with Tiffany. I need to know. I need to know what other crazy shit people have seen at the gym. Like, people wonder what goes on in a men's locker room. I'm telling you, there's more shit that goes down in a ladies' room than there ever is in a men's room. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. So let's go use that visual thinking to our benefit and picture yourself actually, let's say you have a bucket that's filled with bats, like baseball bats. And if you are someone who likes a different object, you know, like magic wands or something like that, you can do it in that way. But I like the bat analogy. So you have all these different bats. You have the comparison bat, the self-doubt bat, the shame bat. You have all those different bats in there. So they all exist. We have all of them in there. Every single one of us. Oprah has them. Okay. Beyonce has them. Every single person has them. You know, even like, you know, Polly, the princess influencer, okay, prances around the world with her abs and cute outfits. Okay, she has them too. So in that bucket also lives all the other ones I said. Is the confidence, is the leadership, is the decisiveness, is the determined, is the resourceful bat. So visually, when you have thoughts that come up about your goals, oh God, I've already blown it. I'm not going for it like someone else. Why did I even bother? Blah, blah, blah. And you have all those bats out. I want you to take a moment. This doesn't have to take a half an hour. This could take 1 minute, which you all have a minute. This could take 45 seconds. If you need to excuse yourself and say you have to go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom and do this. But I want you then to visually picture yourself putting down those bats, putting them back in the bucket. You're putting them back in the bucket. And then I want you to filter through that bucket and pick up different bats. Pick up the confidence bat. Pick up the resourceful bat. Pick up the zero fucks bat. Pick up a different bat. Okay? So for every low vibe one, there we have a high vibe set of bats too. They're all in there. And you have a choice to pick up something else. So I want you to visualize that and pick up something else. Maybe the new thoughts of being resilient and resourceful and confident because you're in such a low vibe state don't just automatically come to you. That's understandable. They don't just automatically come to me either if I'm in a really bad way. All right. And those of you who follow me on Instagram and have been watching my stories, you know that I've been in a bad way. So they don't just automatically come to you when you're in a bad way. But you have made the decisive choice to pick up a different bat, a high vibe bat, and you're signaling to yourself, to your subconscious, and to the universe, I want to think and feel this specific way. I want to think and feel resilient. I want to think and feel confident. I want to think and feel and have a zero fucks attitude. I want to think and feel resourceful, right? I want these things. And then let go and know that those new thoughts and those new emotions and those new feelings will come to you. You can take it a step further depending on how you're feeling and say, how would the resourceful version of me think right now? What would the resourceful version of me do right now? Now, I understand some of you might feel so low and shitty sometimes, you might not have the energy to do that part of the exercise. So I'm aware of that. But this is the next part. Pick up, the confidence bat. Okay, you're filled with self-doubt. Put that down. Pick up confidence. What would the confident version of me do right now? What would the confident version of me say right now? All right. Now put down the judgment, right? I'm afraid of what people think of me. People think I'm stupid. I don't have enough of this. I don't have enough of that. Put that bat down. Pick up the zero fucks bat. What would the zero fucks given version of me do right now? What would the zero fucks version of me think right now? You can do this part of the exercise in your head, or you can write it down. Even better, you do both. Okay? And this is something that I do every single time stuff comes up. Yes, there's going to be days where I'm like, I don't even have the energy to do that second part of the exercise. That's okay. But I've at least called in the feelings I want to feel, that I want to hold on to. And I've at least called them in. So I'm making it clear to myself, to my subconscious, to my higher power, angels, universe, God, whatever that is to you, that I want to call more of these feelings in, more of these high vibe bats in. But the reality is in that damn bucket are all the things, and we all have them, and we can't avoid any of them. And avoidance, by the way, is a low vibe bat in of itself. So we don't want to avoid sadness. We don't want to avoid grief. We don't want to avoid anger. Okay. It's just a matter of sitting in it for so long where it's not serving us and we're not moving that energy. That's not good. So that's when I want you to go and pick up different high vibe bats. So this is how we can help ourselves stay on track with our goals. Also, I want to say this. If you did what most people do and kept filtering all sorts of things in your crazy brain filing cabinet, all right, and you kept filtering all these things you're going to do in 2020, and now it feels like, oh my God, all the pressure is here. I've got to do it now. Oh my God, and it's doing that to you. That in of itself was a form of setting yourself up for failure. All right, so it's okay. Let's take the pressure off. Let's take it off. That doesn't mean letting you off the hook. Like, well, now I'm just going to be lazy and now I'm just not going to do it. No, that's black and white thinking. Let's lift the pressure off. Okay. Instead of if going at 100 miles per hour feels scary, out of control, too fast for you, then you're not going to achieve that goal anyway. So let's take it off. Let's back it down to a speed that, might be out of your comfort zone, but isn't terrifying to you. So what is that? Is that 70? Is that 60? Okay. And every day might be different, but at least you're still moving. That vehicle is still moving. You're just moving at a different pace. Not every day is going to be the same pace. You're not going to be at the same pace as Polly the influencer. You're not going to be at the same pace as Tiffany Carter. You're not going to be at the same pace as your significant other, as your best friend, as your mentor, as your coach, whatever. You're going to be at your divine space on what feels good to you. That doesn't mean it won't feel scary and you don't need to push your limits, right? Because you're going for something new. But if you push too far, it is a setup for failure. So let's regroup. Those expectations you set, those goals you set, maybe you went a little too heavy-handed with it, right? Maybe you said, I'm going to work out 6 days a week. And you went from working out maybe one day every 2 weeks. That's probably a little heavy-handed, right? If it went from I'm making, $20,000 a year and by the time it's March 1st, I'm going to be making $100,000 a year. I'm not saying that's not possible, but as a top business coach, I would say that's heavy-handed, right? Unless you have something I'm very unaware of, or like Justin Bieber's promoting your shit or something. All right. So let's just take it down a notch, take some of the air out of that balloon and bring things back to a zone where it feels harmony, where it feels you're being stretched, but you're not being stretched so thin that you snap. All right. My therapist uses the rubber band analogy, which, I mean, duh. Why do you think she's my therapist? Because she uses analogies. Love it. And she's saying you can stretch people, and you can stretch people's behaviors and their beliefs, their thoughts, their actions, their patterns. You can stretch them, but you're not going to just change them and morph them into something else. So you can stretch yourself, but if you stretch yourself way too far and too fast, you're going to snap. That's why I always say fast and furious leads to burnout. Slow and steady wins the race. All right. So do the BAT exercise that I just shared. Let me know how it's working for you. I want you to know you always have me to reach out to. The best way to reach out to me is to DM me on Instagram at ProjectME with Tiffany. I would really appreciate if you guys could do me a solid. I need you to go to iTunes and do a 5-star written iTunes review. It takes 90 seconds. Even if you don't have an iPhone, it doesn't matter. You can be on a Google device. If you're like, Tiffany, I don't know how to do a damn review on iTunes. I have no clue about anything tech. That's okay. You can literally Google it and the steps come up right there, and it's really freaking easy. So you can just do that. But I would really mean the world to me for you guys to, if you want to honor your gratitude for the show, for all the amazing free content that I put out along with my producer and my coordinator and my amazing guests. I would so appreciate it. This is how we help keep the show going and growing, is through those 5-star written iTunes reviews. Thank you so much, you guys. Wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Talk to you soon. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.